Hello, everybody. Welcome to Boss Rush Podcast. I'm your host, the one, the only, that retro code, Eddie B. Joining me, it's Bossman himself, back from vacation from the world of imagination, Mr. Corey Derrick.
Hello. I'm glad everybody else joined us today as well. Thanks, guys.
Yes. Unfortunately, Ray cannot make it. He has working hard, has meetings and plans to do, and Sir Jesse is spending time with his family and friends, having a good meal. I'm going to get on him if he do not send me a pic of what he eating, because I love food pics. That's just me.
That's true. I sent you enough of them from vacation.
Should we touch down on that before we get into housekeeping?
No, because I mean, we'll just talk about it when we get to what we've been playing. Because I got a lot to talk about that's not game related. So.
Okay, then. Well, we're going to get into some quick housekeeping. Follow us on Twitter at boss_rush_games and on Facebook and Instagram at bossrushgames. Join our Discord, Xbox console community, and our Destiny clan. Also, live shows have returned. Join us live on Mixer and Twitch at bossrushgames live. All one word to chat with us live on air. You can also find all of our content on bossrushgames.com. Partner Play revamped. Our seasonal Let's Play show is officially underway. You can go to bossrushgames.com Saturdays from February 1st to April 4th this season, featuring games like Devil May Cry 5, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Spec Ops: The Line, Monster Hunter, and more. Tweet at us what games you want to see in the upcoming seasons. Our latest episode is Astral Chain, so please, everybody, go take a look at that conversation, that episode. We really had a good one. It was a really good discussion. Lastly, Arsenal X has officially returned live and on podcast services Wednesday. Join us on Sunday Night Arsenal for the pre-show, the live podcast recording, and some multiplayer Xbox fun on Mixer and Twitch. Also, remember to check out our family of shows, podcasts, and videos on youtube.com/bossrushgames podcast services, and of course on bossrushgames.com. And yes, everybody, we are on Anchor FM, so you can check us out there also. But we're going to get into some gaming get down. But I'm going to head over to Boss because he had a adventure last week. And I'm so excited to hear everything that he did. So, Boss, what games are you getting down? Or tell us about your adventure.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't really play any games last week. I mean, I went on vacation and it kind of was nice to just unplug a little bit, just to... Not that, I don't enjoy doing this every week, obviously, but sometimes you just need a little bit of a break and a little time to, reflect and kind of just enjoy not having to worry about what's next or what you're editing or what needs processed or uploaded or whatever. And it was just really nice. So, I went to Disney World with my dad, and we kind of just had a guy's trip down there, and it was a phenomenal trip, dude. Let me tell you, I mean, we just, they came over this morning and we kind of looked at pictures and talked about stuff and watched videos and stuff. And it was a great trip, man. It really was. This was the first time I was down there since, the last time I went down, the Avatar stuff hadn't opened yet. It was opening the week after we left, so I haven't been since then. So I saw the new Avatar stuff, I saw the new Star Wars stuff, which was phenomenal, the Toy Story Land, which was phenomenal. They changed a few of the rides since I was there, and it was just amazing, and I've been putting together some stuff relating to that as well, and I really had a good time, man. It was a really, really good time. Ate a lot of food, rode a lot of rides, did a lot of stuff with my dad, and it was fun, man. It was really, really a good time.
That's good.
As you can probably see on the video version, I'm a little bit redder than I was, the week before.
Glad you had a great time, and the stuff that you was telling me about and the food picks was just so off the chain. Just I really want to now go to Disney. I like want to really plan the trip because I haven't been there. Like I said, like I was telling you, Corey, I haven't been there since 1999, and I kind of want to just revisit, revisit that Walt Disney World. And also my good friends Johnny Deuce and Kyle Deuce and Johnny Womack, they're down there from the Kyle and Deuce. Colin Deuce, Johnny and Deuce podcast. I kind of want to see them too when I go now. So that's great. But you also got something else before you went down there. Can you tell us a little bit of that?
What did I do?
You got a certain item that me and you was been talking about on Power Block. It arrived.
I'm lost. What did I get? I'm sorry. I'm really confused right now. What did I get?
Something that's not a Nintendo Switch.
Oh,
original.
Yeah. So I played around a little bit with the light, and it's a nice little device. I mean, it feels good in your hands. It plays, it's just the handheld version, and it's a nice device. But honestly, I didn't even play. I honestly didn't even play it. I honestly didn't even play anything. It was just like I wanted to, but then I was just like, there was too much to do down there, and just like I wanted to enjoy that time and just be unplugged, and I'm gonna try to play some stuff this weekend, so we have stuff to talk about on Power Block, obviously. But it was I really, really just tried to unplug, and besides posting stuff on Instagram and Twitter, like I just needed to unplug, and I gotta tell you, man, it was really nice not thinking about stuff for a while, but I gotta tell you, man, that Star Wars stuff though, I mean, I'm gonna have some stuff talking about my vacation in a separate kind of thing, but the Star Wars stuff I think is kind of relevant to our audience, and maybe the Avatar stuff too, Dude, the Star Wars stuff was so phenomenal down there. Like the Batu, the planet that you kind of get transported into while you're in the park. Like the moment you walk in, it's just kind of like it looks like you're on a movie set from Star Wars, right? And it kind of eases you in, right? You walk in and you see like you kind of walk into like where you're supposed to enter in from, like the exits into Toy Story Land. So it was like it's kind of where you walk in, you're kind of walking into a Resistance base. This area kind of takes place during the new trilogy, right? You kind of like the Resistance and the First Order are like big parts of this area, right? And you see stormtroopers walking around and patrolling, and then you see, Resistance fighters kind of walking and patrolling and stuff. Like you walk into this, like the Resistance area, and you go into town, like the town, like whatever this town is, and you walk in, and there's all these little vendors and people selling you stuff, right? Like just little, obviously souvenir stuff, but it's set up where like it's not really a store, it's just kind of like a vendor, right? And you kind of walk through and you see all these props kind of hanging, and you see like the A-wing and the X-wing kind of sitting out front, and you see like a bunch of ships like all around, right? Because they're just landing and coming into town or whatever. You go through this town and you round the corner and you see like this, like you see kind of like an outpost, and you see restaurants, and then you see like where you can make your droids and the lightsabers, and then like as soon as you round a corner, they hide it so well, but as soon as you round a corner, you see the Millennium Falcon, a life-size Millennium Falcon, right? And it was one of the most, I'm not even a huge Star Wars fan, right? But it's like one of the most incredible things you've ever seen, right? When you walk in here, and it's just kind of like landed down into this ship kind of, what do you call it? Like just kind of like a area, right? And you can take pictures and video and stuff. And if you go to my Instagram and stuff, you see it. But it was really cool. And then you kind of walk around and you go, you know, through this little other area where like the First Order has a base there too, and they're kind of butted up against each other. And you can kind of see where like the area, it's almost like you're looking at this planet and like this part has been colonized by the Resistance and this part has been colonized by the First Order. And you can see like there's like tension there, but you can also see where it kind of like transforms into the other base.
Yeah,
it's really cool, man. And there's a little stand where they were selling blue milk and green milk, and you know, it's the running jokes of the Star Wars movies is the blue milk. And I gotta tell you, man, the blue milk was really good. It tasted like melted rainbow sherbet. The green milk was kind of like it was fine, but the blue milk is definitely, if you're going down there, it's the blue milk you want. So, and then, dude, there was a really good wrap there too. The Ronto wrap. Oh, so good, man. It was so good. It was like a pita, right? It was a pita, and it was a pork sausage, like a really kind of, it might have been like a foot long sausage. It was big, wrapped in peppercorn pork with a tangy slaw and a peppercorn sauce on top. Dude, I could have eaten like 50 of them. They were so good. I'm not even kidding. And then they had a breakfast version too, which we went and rode the Rise of the Resistance. We tried it. It's, man, that thing is like, before I get to the breakfast, it's kind of a whole story here, right? Like we got there, like we tried to get a boarding pass. Let's see, the way this ride is set up, there's not really a line that you stand in. You have to be in the park at open. And as soon as the park opens, you go through the My Disney Experience app, and you have to, it's literally the first thing on the app because it's so popular. You go into the Rise of the Resistance part of the app and you click apply for boarding pass. And you have to, like, they only guarantee between 50, depending on how late the park's open, it's like 50 to 60 rides a day they only guarantee, because they have to do maintenance on it every, what, like, I think they said like every like 8 or 10 hours they do maintenance on it. So the first day we got boarding pass 116 the first time we tried, which is like obviously over 50 over what they promise. And they got to 113 and they had to do maintenance on the ride, so we missed it the first time. And then we weren't going to try to do it another day because we were only there for a short time and we had plans at another park or whatever. But then when my dad's like, you know what, let's just get up and try one more time. So we did it the second day and we got boarding pass 34, and we got on, and they were really like shoveling people through this thing, right? Because it's so popular. They want to get more people in it. And we got 34. We got on at around, I want to say like 10:30. Dude, it's not even like, I mean, it's a ride, but it's like a whole experience, right? I was telling you about it last night a little bit.
Yeah.
Like when they call your boarding pass, when they call your boarding number, the app sends you a notification when you're ready to board, right? So you go up to the people and say, you know, they actually want you to like talk a certain way when you're in this land too. Like when you go to pay for something, they don't say that'll be $8, please. They'll say that'll be 8 credits, right? Because in Star Wars they use credits. And then instead of hello when they greet you, they say bright. They're like bright suns, right? And they do this like circular wave, right? It's like this. If you want to be really nerdy about it, you can look it up, and they have like everything that you can say to them and how they'll interact with it. And so like they'll say, like when you go to get boarded, they're like, so you're being recruited by the Resistance, and like it becomes this whole like staged event where like they're like, you're being recruited by the Resistance, and they'll say, let's let's take you inside so you can get up to speed on the mission. And then, you know, you're walking through like what's going to be the line when this ride becomes less popular over the years, right? So you're going through and you see like all these props from the movies, right? Like you'll see, you know, rebel helmets and the orange jumpsuits, right, that they wear in the X-Wings, or, you know, these screens, like these clear screens that have maps, like star maps on them, and you'll walk through and you go into this room and you'll, they like, this is the recruitment area, which is basically the lobby of the ride, right? This recruitment area. And BB-8, the little ball droid from the new movies, is kind of rolling around up above you and, you know, kind of giving orders, and he's being given orders to help. And all of a sudden, like, the lights dim and you see a hologram of Rey from the movie. And it's like they got the actors from the movie to be a part of this experience. And like Rey gives you a mission briefing, and then it transfers you over to some of the other characters, right? And they kind of bring you up to speed on the mission, and you're going to the secret base of Princess Leia, and you're gonna go meet Princess Leia to get your mission, right? And so after you do that, you go outside of this. They lead you outside, right? And you see the like a couple X-Wings parked outside, and then you see BB-8 roll out of the room and into the X-Wing, like the black X-Wing that's Poe's, obviously. And you get into this transport ship, right? And you get in with a bunch of people, and this character is like, okay, we're going to blah blah blah, prepare to jump to light speed or whatever. And like, you know, it's they do a really good job of simulating stuff, right? And you're holding on to like a handrail, and you can feel this ship kind of shake. I mean, it's still like on the ground, right? Because it's just a big room, but there's screens all around you, and animatronic pilot and animatronic like aliens and stuff. And behind you, you see the X-Wings take off with you, and they're kind of guiding you. And then you get captured by the First Order, and you feel the ship get captured by a tractor beam, and you get sucked into a First Order ship, and then you're arrested by actors. Like this whole first part, we're not even to the ride yet, right? And this whole first part is like a 10 to 15 minute thing. And then you get arrested by the First Order, and there's actors there who are arresting you, and this is how you get into your ride vehicle, right? They're taking you to your cell block, and you're cell block red 8 or whatever, and they like tell you to stand on a color, and they're whatever, and they you get in this big room, and there's stormtroopers like patrolling, right? And there's like this big video wall in the back of the room, but it looks like you're staring out into space, and you're seeing an X-Wing and TIE fighter kind of dogfight going on outside. And dude, it's super cool. And then you get into the ride, and like the way you board your cars is you go into your cell, and there's more actors, and they're part of the resistance, and they're breaking you out of your cell. And you get in your car, and you then this is where like the real ride starts. And this is like probably like 15 or 20 minutes into this experience by now, right? And then you get this, like they're experimenting with new magnetic non-track rides, right? So the whole thing is guided by magnets and computers, and the set design and everything is just phenomenal, right? You ride under these big AT-AT walkers. You are kind of like going through this Death Star without having to without being caught. And you see Kylo Ren, and you see General Hux, and you see like all these characters from the new movies. And it's just, man, it's so cool. And then you get to this one point where there's an animatronic Kylo Ren, right? And he's like trying to figure out where the secret base is. And the whole kind of point of like at least episode 7 is like he's trying this new force power where he can like try to extract information from your mind. And you can like, when he's using the force, you can hear and feel like the room crunching because he's using the force, and he keeps pulling your cars toward him, right? and like your cars get so close to him, and then all of a sudden there's this big explosion behind him, and you see him get sucked out of a window, right? Like this animatronic gets sucked out, and like it dude, and then you kind of escape and drop, and then they put you in this ship and drop you out, and you're part of the star battle, right? And then you kind of land and whatever. It's so crazy and phenomenal, this attraction. And like even if you're not a Star Wars fan,
you would definitely enjoy it.
You can appreciate and just like the amount of detail that went into this, right? Like there's parts where like your car's going through and you see these big like laser cannons, right? And like every time they shoot, they like do this little like move forward and back, kind of like they're bouncing, right? Because they're so powerful, they shoot back, and your cart like stops, and then as soon as it shoots, like the cart like times itself to where when the thing moves back, it moves forward. But it's really tension filled because like it looks like you're not going to make it, and there's like 4 or 5 of them in a row. Oh, it's so cool, man. It's so cool. If you want to see like some video footage of it, you can look it up on YouTube or whatever, but like it's just phenomenal.
I think I probably would leave that thing and be speechless. Like I wouldn't be able to be like, I have no words to say, because I'm just I'm just like, wow, taking it all in. I think I would have got off that ride and still been processing it to now to take it off. Like, what did I just experience?
Yeah,
this is top notch amazing.
Yeah, it was really something else, dude. And you know, I just don't know how else to explain this ride except for like it is a technical marvel. It is they must have spent, I can't tell you the amount of money they probably spent on this ride, because they probably could have built a whole nother park in the amount of money they spent on this ride. Like it was phenomenal, man. So that was cool. And then the other Star Wars ride there's 2 other ones, but one's been there forever. But
before you get into that, how does this lead into the breakfast?
Oh, yeah. So, okay. So the second day we get there, I forgot that that's where we were going. The second day we got there, right? We got there at 7:45, and they let people in the park early. So when the park opens, because you have to, Disney gives you these magic bands, right? They're just bands with NFC chips in them, and they keep track of your it's your room key, it's your park ticket, it's your it's your meal plan. Like if you want to buy souvenirs, you can link your credit card to it and like just purchase stuff through it, right? And it's just like it's just everything you need to enjoy yourself there. So you have to be scanned into the park before you apply for a boarding pass. So we get there at 7:45, and as soon as 8 o'clock, you just see all these people holding up their phones, like trying to get through the app. But like the thing is, like you have to refresh the app when you get in the park, and everybody had their apps open. So I didn't even open the app until we got in the park. And we got boarding pass 34, and like we got on around like 11 o'clock. But before that, we went and had the Ronto wrap for breakfast, the breakfast one.
Yeah.
Dude, oh, it's so good. It was so good. It's basically just like, it's sausage wrapped in that pork stuff, but instead of tangy slots, wrapped in peppercorn, scrambled eggs, and like a mixed cheese type thing, and with that peppercorn sauce. Dude, it was so good. Like I came home and looked up the recipe to make it because I want to make it at home. Like that's how good it was. And it's actually like really easy to make. You know, like it probably won't taste exactly the same, but the ingredients are just, you know.
We will be going grocery shopping when I get there.
So, but yeah, that breakfast was great, and then we rode the Smuggler's Run, which is, you know, you get to pilot the Millennium Falcon through you know, you're on a bounty hunt with Chewbacca, and you have to go get whatever. That was cool. It was pretty cool. And then obviously Star Tours has been there forever, which is just their motion kind of simulated ride. So that was like, the Star Wars area is definitely really, really unique and cool. And the Avatar ride, the Avatar rides are obviously really cool too. Even if you're not into Avatar, I couldn't care less. I can give two craps about Avatar. And the rides were, do this one ride where you're like flying the Banshee dragon things or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't. You get in the seat, and like they kind of like link you in, right? Like they put a brace on your back, and it comes up to your neck, right? And then there's a chest piece that holds you in, and you're holding on, dude. And they kind of like link you into your avatar or whatever, and you put on these 3D. It's 3D this whole ride, but it's also like a motion simulator mixed with IMAX, mixed with 3D. Well, it's actually like 4D, because like they have like areas where like you smell certain things and water splashes you when you fly over the water. And the seat, even like the where your legs go, like
Yes.
it makes you feel like you're like the wings are flapping of this giant Banshee thing, and you can feel them move on your legs, it was one of the most incredible things I've ever experienced there too. This whole vacation was just full of new experiences. It's amazing because like we used to go every year, right? And a couple times a year sometimes when I was little, because my mom worked for Disney. And it was nice to go do stuff that you're not expecting to do, right? Because the last time I was there was 2 years ago, because we didn't go last year because Riley's too young, and it's just we did other things, and but just to do something, just to go and do new things, even Toy Story Land, man, right? Like the Slinky Dog Dash roller coaster that they added, and Toy Story Mania, which is like the little 3D arcade game that they have, and it was such a nice trip, dude. It was just so much fun, and even the old rides that I had done before like 100 times, some of them had changed a little bit, and that was nice to see, and seeing what's coming, in the next few years. Like the Epcot's getting a Guardians of the Galaxy indoor roller coaster, and they're also getting the Ratatouille kind of adventure that Disneyland Paris has, and they're getting a Moana water ride over there. Like they're adding so much to Epcot now.
Ooh.
Magic Kingdom's getting the Tron roller coaster, which looks awesome. It's like this VR roller coaster. Those new kind of roller coasters that like you have a VR helmet, it shows you something different than what's going on really outside. That's what the Tron roller coaster is going to be, where like you kind of lay down on like a motorcycle type thing, and then this helmet / shoulder harness goes over you, and there's a VR headset in front of you. So that's going to be really neat. And dude, there's just so much going on down there. Like I was telling my dad, and I were talking, and we were just like, I don't know why anybody would ever want to go anywhere else in terms of like theme parks, right? Like I do want to go to Universal at some point and check out the Harry Potter and the Nintendo stuff that's going to happen there, right? Like I do want to check that out, but like in terms of just the biggest amusement park around here is Cedar Point by me. And it's like, why would you, like, we were just talking about, like, why would you go to Cedar Point when you come here for, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, and nobody wants to spend a week at Cedar Point, but, like, it's just phenomenal, the stuff that they do, and the attention to detail, and the things that they change and redo and keep up, right? Like, I don't know, man. It kind of renewed my everything, like, I don't know. I hadn't been there in a while, and I just been so busy with other stuff. I haven't really had time to think about the stuff that
used to do.
Yeah, I was going to say used to love, but I mean, I still love it. I just haven't paid that much attention to it, right? And it's kind of just nice to get back into that, and it's I love it, man. I love it down there so much, and it was just a great trip. So I didn't mean to take over that segment. I was just it's if I'm not at home, that's where I want to be, right? And it's I know like people don't love it as much as I do, and I know people, you know, just it's not for everybody, right? But if you haven't been and you have the opportunity to go, and there's all these little tricks and stuff to get you through, like, you know, fast passes and you know, whatever, that make it easier to navigate and plan your day or whatever. But like, it's just such a cool place, man. It's my favorite place ever. So
Yay!
So what else? Oh, I rode Tower of Terror for the first time in like 10 years because I hate those kind of rides, and I rode it because my dad loves it, and it's wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad.
It's a ride.
Yeah. I did kind of like figure out that like some roller coasters just aren't for me anymore, man. Like I just my back hurts a lot, and just how jerky it is, and having a headache and everything. I'm not built for roller coasters anymore. Like we rode Rock and Roller Coaster, which is the indoor kind of roller coaster. It's shoots you from 0 to 65 miles an hour in 3 seconds. And then it shoots you right up into a loop. But yeah, man, it's just I love it down there so much. I just can't wait to go back now. You know, like I couldn't wait to go back, but then I just kind of, you know, you just kind of move on, and just now I'm just like, I kind of want to go back. Even if it's just for like a weekend, and I could just go to two, like 1 or 2 parks for the weekend. So.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, let me get quickly into what I've been playing. Because now, like I said, I want to go to Disney World. And me and Corey, we talked, and like, you know, you're more Disney, I'm more Six Flags and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I've grown up definitely here around in this area close to Gurney, Illinois, where we have a Six Flags, and all I did was ride roller coasters. So when you talk about theme parks, it's just like going to a theme park makes you feel good, and just kind of like takes away your worries and stuff. You get to feel like a kid, if you get to feel catered in a sense. You know.
Yeah, and you know, I understand, like, for people that are expecting like an amusement park, like thrill rides and stuff, Disney doesn't have a whole lot of that. It's more about an experience instead of you know, being like thrill rides and stuff. Now they do have like they're pretty decent thrill rides, right? Like Rock and Roller Coaster is one. Space Mountain is a classic, right? Like, and Tron is gonna do that too, and you know, like they have stuff like that, but like you're not gonna be doing like going upside down 3 or 4 times on a ride, or dropping 400 feet right at 90 miles an hour. Like it's more about like
a theatrical,
yeah,
like a show, a theatrical, family. Like, just because Disney is known for like their movies and stuff, it's just entertaining you. So Disney World is trying to almost recapture that, but take it to a next level with this immersion of making you feel like you're in a show, and you're part of the experience.
Yeah, and they do a really good job, especially with the newer attractions, of making you part of the experience. You know, like I said, the Star Wars stuff, phenomenal, making you feel like you're part of Star Wars, right? Or the Avatar stuff, making you feel like you're being plugged into an avatar, right? Or even Toy Story Land, to an extent, makes you feel like you've walked into Andy's backyard from the movies, right? And like the whole world is built out of like Tinker Toys and Lincoln Logs and tape and broken pencils, and the benches look like popsicle sticks, and even the roller coaster looks like it's made out of like pickup sticks and like old school toys, right? Like it's and even those little wooden blocks, like the supports for the rides are made out of little blocks, and the cars look like Slinky Dog. Like it's so like the attention to detail on everything is just so it's so good. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. Been playing Bloodstain. I kind of put Tokyo Mirage Session on hold. I'm gonna come back to that, but I wanted to get some work done on Bloodstain. Um, it still needs some patchwork for Switch, because there was a part where I entered like this tower and the frame rate dropped, and it was like, ooh, yeah, you guys got to continue to patch this to get the performance working. But playing that, enjoying it here and there. Also picked up a game called 3000th Duel. It's another Metroidvania game. Really cool. Nindy Nation was talking about it, and I went and took a look. I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. Fast-paced sword action in a 2D play with a little stamina attached to it. Yeah, I'm down for this or little RPG. So probably will be playing that a little bit later. Did pick up Pokemon Mystery DX, but we'll talk about that on Power Block a little bit later. For PlayStation, I finished Knack, and I deleted it from my PlayStation 4.
I saw that. I was like, man, Ed's really doing something with Knack.
That frustrating questionable content. Like it's a big FQC, and I played it on normal.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, I think one of the bad things about it is that in order for you to know that you're at a checkpoint in the game, they do a cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
So if you did something for 20 whole minutes, if you died, you got to do that whole 20 minutes all over. So they don't respect your time, I would just say.
Yeah.
So, started up the Final Fantasy VII remake demo. We'll talk about that later. I really want to finish it and get my thoughts. The combat is really good. I do like the fast pace, but I think
is it kind of like 15's combat? Because like I'm really interested in it, but like I know it comes out. I know it's coming to Xbox next year, and I would rather wait for it to come to Xbox to play it.
It's a mix of 15 and 15 and a little bit of Kingdom Hearts with it. So I mean, it's not bad. You kind of learn a little bit of detail, but like I can't say this. If this game was just like straight action stylized combat system without some of the RPG mechanics that they're going to be throwing in for it, it would be a fun game, like a fun action game. But it looks really good. I think the problem that's gonna like ruin the experience for me is that there's just too many cutscenes.
Yeah.
And I know this is just this is a demo and this is the beginning, but I'm just like, if this is going to be throughout the whole game, this is going to ruin the flow of this game. But that is that. Downloaded Sonic Forces, played a little bit of that. It's free on PlayStation Plus. I'm going to try to play this game all the way through. I haven't played a full Sonic game since like Sonic Adventure, and I did play Sonic Generations. I think I have that on Xbox. No, I don't have that yet, but I want to play all of the Sonic Generation. But I haven't really went through a full Sonic game since like Sonic 2 and a little bit of Sonic Adventures. I got to the end of Adventures, but couldn't defeat the last boss. So I was just like, okay, that's that. For Xbox, playing more of the Division 2. Actually got to play with my friend Matt. We talked, had a good time and everything. Hopefully we connect together and play more of that. But I want to start up Control. Been playing some of that, so that's gonna be my next game before Ori and the Blind Forest comes out, and hopefully my collection series get here. So if it does, I'm going to be posting pictures of it on the Boss Rush Twitter page and our Facebook page. But pretty much that's all I've been playing. I know there's a lot that I'm juggling, but there's going to be a lot more because we got Ori. Yes, I did get Pokemon, but I got Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing, and then Resident Evil 3 is coming like that following week. I'm not doing the Final Fantasy, even though that's dropping on my birthday. I'm not doing Final Fantasy 7 because I want all 3 games to come out, and I want to play it like in full and everything. So, but that's pretty much what I've been getting down to. So Corey, how about we get into some news?
Sure, let's do it. Because I've been hearing a whole bunch of things happening, so
Yes. And our news comes from Game Informer, so you guys can check them out at GameInformer.com. Neil Druckmann and Chernobyl creator making the Last of Us series for HBO. The Last of Us writer slash creator director Neil Druckmann and acclaimed Chernobyl creator Craig Mason are teaming up for an HBO series based on the hit video game. Naughty Dog president Evan Wells and Carolyn Strauss, executive producer of Chernobyl, among other HBO properties, will also serve as executive producers, and the TV series will be the first from PlayStation production. Neil Druckmann is without question the finest storyteller working in the video game medium, and The Last of Us is his magnum opus, Mason told The Hollywood Reporter. Getting a chance to adapt this breathtaking world of art has been a dream of mine for years, and I'm so honored to do it in partnership with Neil. From the first time I sat down to talk with Craig, I was equally blown away by his approach to narrative and his love and deep understanding of The Last of Us, said Druckmann in a statement. Although the exact shape of the series is still coming together, The Hollywood Reporter says that the show covers the 2013 game and could feature content from this year's sequel, The Last of Us Part 2, which Druckmann directed and co-wrote. Druckmann wrote a script for a possible The Last of Us movie, but in 2018, his interest in the project has cooled. So a lot of people are excited about this, but they don't. They hope that it don't turn out to be another The Walking Dead series, because people kind of lost interest in that.
I mean, sure, right? Like, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I think the cool thing would be to tell a different story than Joel and Ellie's in the show, but you know, I think it could be a interesting thing, you know. Like, I mean, I'm not really a big Last of Us fan, so like it's obviously not going to be for me, but like I know a lot of people that love The Last of Us want to explore more of that world, and if they can tell a compelling story in that show that, you know, is different from Joel and Ellie's, or maybe like that in between time, like maybe the first season takes place in that 15, 20 or so years in between that first you know, kind of moment in The Last of Us, and where you pick up as Joel later in his life, right? Like maybe if they tell a story in between there, how they got there, like that kind of stuff could be interesting. So I don't know. I think they could tell interesting stories in that world, maybe that don't have to do with Joel and Ellie either. But you know, it's I know that PlayStation's doing a PlayStation production stuff, and this is the first step for them probably in that direction too. So we'll see. We'll see if it works. I hope it has better footing than that Uncharted movie that's been dying for 5 years.
Well, it's going to be a reality soon because they're getting actors for it. So we'll see how that
actors sign on to projects for like years in advance before, because remember Mark Wahlberg signed on for that movie like 5 or 6 years ago, and he was originally supposed to play Drake, and now he's playing Sully. So that's how long it's been.
Wow. So yeah, I think I'll check it out, but I think I'll wait for it to come like Blu-ray, or you know, just come out as a whole complete season. I'm not saying that I don't like The Last of Us. My plan is to work through that game through April, so I can be ready for The Last of Us 2. But I don't know. It's just something that, that's cool. They announced that. Yeah, just don't retread on the video game. Like, I know you guys wanna.
Plus, I think that story in the game has, like, a lot of people like know that story, that love that game, right? And if they changed anything about that story, right, I think they would have a kind of like just like an instant kind of backlash to it, and I don't want something like that to ruin the experience. So. That's why I think it's safer to go outside the story that the game's telling.
I kind of want them to make this as a complete prelude to how everything started. Why the animals are not affected? Who developed this? Like, how did it come about? Like, I would like for them to explore that, and just ignore Joey and Ellie altogether, because I feel like they're not important to what this TV show could be. like you said, everybody knows their story, so people are gonna be watching it and comparing it. Now, for people who are not gamers coming into it to watch it, they may be like, "Oh, what is this? Is this sci-fi? Is this horror? Is this a thriller?" And they may get into it. But I'm just like, explore something out way before. This is the time where you do a prelude to a series.
Yeah.
Before you get into what you want to include, because if you do a prelude and nothing from the game is included, you will have a better, I think, viewership of people who want to know more about this, which would lead into sales of your system and the game, and even part 2. So, but
yeah.
Congratulations to them for that.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it. I mean, I don't ever want any project to fail, right? I just hope they take the right approach to it, and it could either be, the later seasons of The Walking Dead, like you said, or it could be something as surprising as Detective Pikachu and Sonic, right? Like, I mean,
right.
We'll see.
Yes. So we're going to move on to the next story. Ghost of Tsushima gets summer release date. Sucker Punch's Ghost of Tsushima is a gorgeous samurai film-inspired open world, and we can't wait to play it. Fortunately, we don't have to wait long. We've been excited about the game since it was announced, and we'll be able to get our hands on it in a few months. Today, or at the time, Sony PlayStation blog announced a June 26th release date alongside a story-focused trailer where hero Jin Sakai prepares for a long, hard battle. We also get to meet a few of Jin's allies and enemies, and you guys can check it out. And I was upset and disappointed at this.
Yeah, why? Like, just a tweet with a trailer or a PlayStation blog post, not like a big
state
reveal?
of play.
Yeah, why would you do this? Like, this is what's wrong with PlayStation right now. Like, not that their games are bad. I'm not saying like that thing, but like, they're just so random about announcing stuff or supporting stuff. Like, this is a big game for them. This is the last big PlayStation 4 game before the PlayStation 5 hits. You wouldn't want to make like a big, like, it doesn't have to be an event, but like you said, it could be like a whole state of play and be like, this is the PlayStation 4 swan song. This is what Sucker Punch has been working on, whatever. And like, you can go in depth with like some of the characters and show a big action scene and show like what the gameplay is going to be about. Like, why didn't they do a state of play for this? Why is it just a blog post? This feels like Concrete Genie and Dreams all over again.
Yes.
And this game is like way bigger than those games, Like, okay, Concrete Genie, no PlayStation experience, all the shows are over. Right, like, you're gonna have a big like release thing for it on the PlayStation blog. That sucks for them, but fine, whatever. Dreams, okay, not a huge like AAA experience to an extent, right? It's just like a game maker kind of, Little Big Planet on steroids type thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, but Ghost of Tsushima it's gonna be your next Horizon, God of War, Last of Us. It's your big swan song for the PlayStation. Why is this a PlayStation blog post and a tweet with a trailer? Why? I don't get it.
I was disappointed because I'm just like, Sony, you are supposed to be marketing and taking care of your first party games. So why why would you just throw this out? Because it just feels like you didn't care. Definitely when everybody wants a Nintendo Direct. Nintendo is silent for their own reason. They're doing their marketing with Animal Crossing. And, they had that Direct and they're dropping things here and there. People are starving for a Nintendo Direct. A state of play, everybody be like, okay, Nintendo, it's your turn now. And people would have watched a state of play because now they know what Sony has up their hands. Yeah, talk about PlayStation 5, people will want, but it's just like, this is what's coming for the system before we end the year and start our next generation. But, and even though it was a trailer, I'm like, this is a cutscene trailer. I'm like, this is Story Beast, and you just announced a date. I'm like, come on now. Yes, it is one of my most anticipated games, and I wish it would have been treated better. The way they treat The Last of Us 2 is on another level than they treat Ghost of Tsushima. Mm-hmm. And that's sad to say. that, I mean, like, yes, The Last of Us 2 got a state of play because they thought it was going to come out in February, but they had to delay. But yet they still, like Sony still marketed something about it. And it's just like, why do you pick and choose some games and not all?
Yeah.
You know, you do it on the PlayStation blog that not many people follow or know about. Like, if you was gonna do it, release it kind of like on Twitter or IGN, like kind of, or YouTube, or kind of give it like a big exclusive, a big announcement.
Yeah, like why wasn't this like an IGN first or a Game Informer cover story type thing?
Yeah,
you know, like those are two huge things that they could have gone through, and like the last bit of coverage of those games would be like, oh, it's got a release date, and you know what I mean? Like they could have done something like that, and I just don't understand why there's not, like, this is just such like a flop announcement to me, you know?
Yeah, and like if Nintendo or Microsoft dominates the summer by announcing stuff and showing E3, because we're gonna be talking about E3 for a while. If they just dominate the conversation and games and indie games and stuff are coming out, Ghost of Tsushima is gonna feel like a second thought.
Yeah,
they'll be like, "Oh, it's here. Okay, I'll just go and get it." You know, there's not gonna be a big reveal. Like, yes, even though like Doom Eternal is not getting a big reveal, at least Bethesda did something about it. Like, they're doing kind of.
Well, they have an IGN first about it. Like IGN, all of February, it was their IGN first, right? Like that's how they got it. You know, I don't understand this. This is like I want it to be like, you know, and they announced like collector's editions and stuff through this blog post too. I'm like, that's something that people probably want to know about, right? Like, it comes with a statue and a mask and like all this other stuff. Like, why didn't they do more?
Who knows?
So
because Sucker Punch, I love Sucker Punch. I think that's one of their best studios. Yeah, Uncharted, yes, Naughty Dog and Team Ico, they make some fantastic games. But like, when we're talking about and Guerrilla Games, when we're talking about Sony as their first party with their games, Sucker Punch is always in the discussion. So they should at least be treated with more respect.
Yeah,
they're just being thrown out. But we're gonna get into our last story. Seattle area video game company sending workers home mid coronavirus concerns.
Mm-hmm.
The Seattle area has been a particular area of concern for the growing threat of the COVID-19 coronavirus in the United States, and a number of tech and gaming companies have made the challenging decisions to adjust their work policies as a result. In just the last couple of days, many of those companies have begun to encourage employees in the Seattle area and surrounding cities to work from home or have closed up their offices entirely while continuing work remotely. Yesterday, Bungie announced that it has enacted a plan for a fully remote work infrastructure for all of its workers worldwide, including its Bellevue studio, which normally acts as the employment home base for several hundred workers. Bungie acknowledged in its statement that the new remote work plan could affect patching cadence in the short term for Destiny 2, and the team's goal is to keep players informed about shifting schedules. However, the impending launch of the next season of the game on March 10th and the Trials of Osiris relaunch on March 13th should be unaffected. Once other companies are also adjusting plans, Microsoft has encouraged workers to work from home through March 25th. Nintendo told Kotaku in a recent statement that it has taken the precaution to allow workers in California and Washington state to work from home. Many of North America's largest gaming companies are based on the West Coast, in areas like Seattle and the San Francisco Bay Area, which are already troubled by the coronavirus threat. Depending on the progress of the disease and its spread, it's not unrealistic to expect additional game and tech companies to be forced to adjust their working policies. So we probably could see a lot of delay in games. We could see some directs or some presentations affected by this. But I think this is a smart thing. That they have this health concern about their employees and stuff. So what we'll see in the future, we know that GDC got postponed to a later date, so that's probably gonna be moved to summer. And then there's some other things that got postponed and canceled. We'll kind of see what happens and if this affects anything in the fall. If it does, we'll probably discuss it. We don't know if this is going to affect Series X or PlayStation 5 plans.
Yeah,
but for right now,
that's like the big thing right now that everybody's talking about is like manufacturing the parts for these might, prohibit these consoles coming out by November.
Yeah.
Which honestly, totally fine with me if they don't. Right, like as much as I want the new consoles, I would rather I could wait I could wait a whole another year, right, for these consoles and be perfectly satisfied, right? But this coronavirus, man, it's really something.
Yeah, they said 17 people have died from it all already, and they're doing their best on trying to get a cure for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's been hundreds of people in China that have died from it. So I mean also, but I don't know whether or not to be scared of it or not, because there's the flu kills people, right? But how bad is this, right? I see things online that say, with current medical technology in first world countries, it's very unlikely that if you get it you'll die from it. But also you read reports of people dying from it, and in China, I know China operates so differently from us in the US and on a lot of different levels, right? But you see a ton of people dying from it over there, and it's something like 2% of the people that have it die from it, right? That's the number right now, but that's it's a lot of people, So I don't know, man. I'm glad people are taking precautions because you want everybody to be healthy and safe and stuff like that. And if something's delayed, that's fine,
totally fine.
I don't want people risking their lives to get out a game, because at the end of the day, it's just a game, or it's just an update, or it's just a mode that you might be really into, but it's not the end of the world if it doesn't come out, So
right.
Coronavirus, on the other hand, could be the end of the world. So
and I think that if they do delay the systems, this is better launch library games to come. They got time to be like, oh, they're delaying it. Okay, let's delay our game so we can fix on it, and then bam, release it when the system is ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, plus if this consoles are delays, it gives you more time to save up for them.
So yeah, but that's it for our news bits. Did we get any questions, Corey, or any past questions?
No, I don't have anything. Nothing that we haven't answered before. I don't really want to repeat ourselves.
Yes.
I mean, if if it's been a couple months since we've answered something, but some of these questions are definitely we've answered them very recently, and I don't really want to retread.
Retread.
So,
before we go, I kind of want to ask you this, Corey, because I was listening to IGN, and they was talking about their top 5 Nintendo consoles. I think of all time, or their top 5 favorites. And I think we have had this discussion many of times. But I kind of want to ask you, for me, what would you say are my top 5 games? If
top 5 games or top 5 consoles?
Top 5 games. I'm gonna do games besides consoles.
I don't know. Probably some retro stuff I've never heard of. I don't know.
I mean, what would you say if, or let's say this: create a top 5 for me. Whether if it's a game that I played or I didn't play, what would you create a top 5 for me?
Just games. Top 5 games. Oh, jeez. Yes. I don't know. Man, I don't know, dude. You like so many weird things that I've never even played or heard of. I'm sure there's a Zelda game in there. I'm sure there's a Mario game in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that there's a shoot 'em up in there. So like I would say I would say probably A Link to the Past, Super Mario World, Ikaruga, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably something Konami related, or Capcom, something from one of them, like real early.
Now, just to let you know, you're creating this, and I'm agreeing to it. So whatever you could have put, Samurai Showdown or something from 3DO, whatever list that you want to create for me, you have created, and I would agree.
Man, see, this is where it gets hard though, because I'm sure there's like a few arcade games that you like.
But like you're making the list, so I have no say. You're making the list, and I was just like, "Yep, those are my top 5." That would be top 5.
I know. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to, because there's so many like ones that I could pick. I'm sure Street Fighter 2 is probably in there.
Okay, that would make 4.
Something really obscure. You know what? We're gonna go to. I want to choose a beat 'em up. I don't want to choose Double Dragon. River City Ransom, maybe.
Okay, that's 5. That's the 5 games.
So I mean, yeah. How close was I?
You made the list. I just agreed to it.
Oh,
Like I said, you could have put any game on there, and that would have been my list.
well, yeah. Okay, I'm sticking to my list. Sticking to my list.
Okay, so my list for you would have been N++, Castle of Illusions, the Mickey Mouse from Sega Genesis. I would say, what is that Dreamcast game? Not Ill Bleed, but the other one with the dinosaurs.
Oh, Blue Stinger.
Blue Stinger. That's 3. I would say, Fire Emblem 3 Houses. That's 4. And You Draw by Ubisoft. That was on Wii.
Wow, that's an interesting list. Man, that's quite a list. I don't even know if I have even played with the U Draw tablet ever. What was the second game you said after N++?
N++. Goodness.
What was it? I don't even remember.
N++, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, You Draw.
What was that second game you said? N++. Man, I don't even remember now.
Yeah, it's just literally off the top of my head. They're gonna be like, "You just said it." I'm just like, see, N++, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, the Dreamcast game, let's say Fire Emblem 3 Houses. The You Draw.
What was that other one?
Oh goodness!
Wow. Well, oh well. It was something that I don't think I've ever played before. What was it though?
Oh, Castle of Illusions.
Oh, Castle. Yeah, I don't think I've ever played Castle of Illusion.
Yes.
I bought the remake for PlayStation 3 and 360, but I never played the original one.
Ah. Okay.
So, I did play Magical Mirror starring Mickey Mouse, which you got to change costumes and kind of like that's how you traverse through the game, where you had to switch costumes to solve puzzles and stuff. That was fun.
I do remember that game. Yeah, that was kind of fun. Yes. It says Jesse and Ray's not here. We can't create a list for them. Well, I kind of want to ask you, audience, what would be our top 5? You create the list. We already agreed to what you would add on. So it could be some garbage stuff, some questionable content. It could be some great things. But we want to know. You can email us at bossrushgamespro@gmail.com. We really want to know what would be our top. What would you create for our top 5? You could do it for one of us. You could do it for all 4 of us, 3 of us, 2 of us. You choose who you want to do a top 5 list and have fun with it. It could be games that we have talked about, games we've never played, things that are in our wheelhouse, things that's just like literally bizarre. And even if y'all want to put Grand Theft Auto 5 for me, you can. Like stuff that I have problems with games. If you want to make that my top 5, you can. You have every right. And because I really want to read what people think and what people say. It would be very interesting what they would create our top 5s to be. But with that, everybody, have a great day. Have a great weekend. Whenever you see this, Corey, would you like to plug anything?
Yeah, you can follow me at I am Corey HD on Twitter and Instagram, and Corey HD on Mixer. I have a couple new things kind of going on that I will be sharing with you over the course of the next couple weeks. I'm pretty excited. Ed knows what it is. So
yes.
I did announce some things on Twitter already. So it's not video game related. So that's new for me. So yeah. That's it for me. You can also find me with Ed on Pow Block if you would like to download that show and listen to it. And yeah, I feel like it's been forever since I podcasted, and now I'm kind of rusty and trying to get back into it.
The world of Disney has relaxed you.
Dude, it really has. I'm just kind of like,
Exactly. And you guys can find me on Twitter at that retro code. You can check me on Mixer at the Lyrical One. You can check out Optional Opinion on SoundCloud and other podcast apps. And yeah, check out our latest 1v1 where we have did an interview with our very own Ray Apollo. We talk about streaming and some other things. So do guys check that out. But as always, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Whenever you listen to this, that's like I always say. And as always, let's be better to one another and let's play games. With that, everybody, bye.
Bye.